Good morning, everyone. This is Anne Marie. This is the All Access SPY report. This morning we are dipping a bit, and I haven't looked about why, and I am stepping away for a few days from the market, so I won't be in today. But looking here at the chart, there are a couple of things that I want us to think about. Now, you'll notice there are a lot of lines on there. Motive wave is awesome because we get to choose all these sorts of pivot configurations. And so we have the daily pivots, which shift, of course, every day, and we have the weekly pivots that shift every week. And right now, we are in the middle of this week's pivots. What's the likelihood of the event that we slip down into support level 1, which is the weekly support level 1, and level 2 on the daily? All right, probably pretty fair, okay? My thought was initially that we would come back up and test the top of the weekly VWAP and then make a decision. But this morning's pre-market action seems pretty solid, actually. And so it concerns me a little bit that we may be drifting down. Now, currently we're printing about 165, which is right at the weekly pivot. This should be a support action event. If it's a support action event, we may indeed have, instead of this alternate ABCD, we may actually be in the beginning of a bat, which would pull us probably all the way up to here. Okay, so that's also an alternative. And I don't want to put all these things in here for us to get our minds all cluttered, because I know it's very simple to get our minds cluttered, very easy with all the things going on. But if it holds this region, right, which is the weekly pivot, we end up having a formation that looks a little bit like this, okay, which is a bat. Thereabouts. I'm totally eyeballing that. So for those of you that are a little exact, hang on. Okay, so for an eyeball, it didn't work too badly. Let's take it off so we can take a look at the two things. Here's where the ideal pullback would be. Underneath this region, right in here, but we are sitting somewhere around the 165 area, and that is an alternate space. What it does do is shift the formation, so there are actually two different regions that the formations could hold, right? This would be the ABCD region, and then this would be the actual formation. So here's how you would read this. You would say, all right, well, if it comes back into at least this range and begins to pop, I've got motion that will take me first to here and then to here. That's if we pop, and this is the relative pattern. I mean, there are a lot of ifs and ands in there, so you want to be careful. If it's much more simple, the chart formations to me have been quite simplistic lately. And so, you know, if it's a simple something like an ABCD pattern, it would be in an alternate ABCD if it did not recover any more than this. And so it would extend all the way down into support level 3, which creates a ton of bounce activity at this region. So if something does pull in to this area, to be sure, it will bounce aggressively, perhaps just into resistance, but it will bounce. So we'll be watching for that pretty carefully, or more than likely it will bounce there, certainly, because it is S3 on the weekly, and the weekly S3 does have a tendency to do that. All right, so that's what I wanted to talk to you about. It's an addendum for those of you that have the extended report. This is an addendum to that because I just saw that this morning before I head out, and so wanted to make sure that you had that, having a look at it A lot of things going on. It could also pop up into this area and then begin to pull back, at which point it would not be an alternate ABCD, but a standard ABCD pattern, which indeed is bullish. This is a bullish pattern. So we could pull all the way back here before having ourselves the next move up. Whatever the case is, I do believe that this pullback here is a little bit more aggressive than what I would have imagined pre-market. And so it looks like we'll be pulling into perhaps a deeper level of support. All right, folks, that's it. Good luck, and I'll see you all on Wednesday.